So I remember when I found that Viking on Facebook. Yeah, it's almost done. Don't worry, it's almost done. I told you to always keep your eye out on Facebook, and it's for good reason. Because sometimes something like this weed-ridden old BSA will pop up. It's not even in focus. So I found this on Facebook. It's in the marketplace quite close by, but the guy had put offers on it. And well, long story short, he originally said people were sending over offers of over £200 for it, which I wasn't willing to pay just because of the sheer amount of work. And after a bit of haggling, most of that honestly was down to Adam on Facebook. I eventually managed to pick up this bike and another bike that he wanted to get rid of, a Hercules, 50s Hercules, which I might show at the end of this. Got him down to £100 for the pair. Now, that might still be a bit overpriced for the work that's involved and the possible resale value if you're going down that route, but I actually want to keep this one. If it turns out good, if it turns out well, I definitely want to add it to my collection. It's going to take a lot of work, I'm not going to lie. I'll show you around in a second, but it's going to take a hell of a lot of work, but it will be worth it. Now the chap had it listed as a 1935 BSA, and after signing up to the Veteran Cycle Club, because that library has gone private now, it's well worth the cost, by the way, well worth the cost. I've dug out a 1934 brochure, which is here, and it's potentially this bike either a BSA Clubman or just the regular BSA Club, which I'm pretty sure is exactly the same. It's very similar. So there's the BSA Club. So this one would be, if it was this particular one of the most expensive ones, the Club Model 403AX, fitted with the Sturmey Archer expanding brake hubs front and rear. The three-speed gearing is again extra. But yeah, I think it's either one of these, but this is from the 1934 catalogue. However, the guy said, after telling me the story of how he came to find it, so he said originally the lady thought this was a gold something, and on the 1936 catalogue there were golden vase. However, the 36 catalogue there's a different stem and some slightly different bits on them, like the Lauterwasser bars rather than these bars, which are, let me just find that, they're Marsh shallow drop bars rather than Lauterwasser. So we'll have a bit of a closer look. Right, let's move along the top tube to the shifter, and you can quite clearly see it's got a Sturmey Archer K-shifter on it, which did actually move before, but now it's not moving. Oh, there we go. Yeah, you have to kind of move it out and then into the gear. So yeah, Sturmey Archer K-shifter. These things, or quadrant shifter, these things are, you know, sort of hard to come by. They still pop up every now and again, so it's a nice thing to have. I haven't actually worked on one before, but it just needs a repaint really. It's a very simple design, just needs a repaint and then it will be back to functioning nicely. Okay, up front we have the handlebars, which are the Marsh shallow drop rather than the Lauterwasser. The Lauterwasser I have on the Hercules, they are a bit more compressed, and I think potentially a bit further far reaching. The stem is a swan neck. It's listed in that 34 Hercules brochure, and this is where one of the differences could come in, because the 36 has them all as well, not swan neck, a normal style. I don't know how you would describe them, but yeah, there's got this beautiful curve on there which matches the curve of the bars, and the brake levers as well, they're in pretty good condition. Obviously I don't really want to touch all that, but everything is probably seized up. The chrome isn't too bad. I mean, the spotted areas around the top here, spotted areas on the stem. The stem should be okay, but the far side of the bars here are flaking. So either I could look at getting them re-chromed because I want to make this bike super special, or, you know, could put them black, but chrome would be nice. The bell on the other side is seized absolutely solid, and the chrome is completely flaked off. So that will need some work too. So if you come around the front to the head badge, it's not a riveted on head badge. It's painted or decal. So this, I have deciphered it. It is a genuine BSA head badge. Back at this time, which is in the 30s, it would have been painted on or stenciled on. And instead of just the normal BSA, which is just a shield with the BSA 3 rifles, you've still got that 3 rifles, but you've got a big BSA Birmingham small arms, and Birmingham, I think, across the bottom, which just, you know, it's a bit more elaborate. So I'm pretty sure I can still get them, and that is the only surviving sort of decal, if you want, on the bike. Now I'm going to come around to this side and step out the light, because we've got an old, very old and original Dynamo Light. I haven't opened it up yet, obviously. I haven't even taken it off. It looks like the front casing is an alloy, aluminium, and the rear casing is steel. It's rusted. Who knows if it works? But the one thing on this bike that I was unsure of, that I didn't really know, I still don't know if it's going to be good at the fork, is the front fork. It's very rusty. I don't know if you can, no, not really a good angle. Still not really. Well, you can kind of see it. No, you can't really. Let's go here. No, it's very hard to see in this light, but it is hell of a... It's so rusty. I'm just worried about the structural integrity of the fork itself, so I might end up switching that out just to be safe. I can get it stripped, see how it responds to getting stripped, but it's the one thing that worries me about this bike, the fork. I don't want to do it all up and then start riding it and the fork just collapse on me, because that would not be nice for the bike or for my teeth. I mean, it might be structurally sound. I want to get them stripped first, sandblasted, and then inspect them and see how they are, because, well, obviously I don't want those to fail at all. Brakes wise, both front and rear on this bike, we've got drum brakes, and again, I've never worked on drum brakes before, so it's going to be a bit of an experience. They're seized. That's given. That's a given. How the hell do they even work? I mean, we've got the wing nuts, which apparently undo. I haven't got the strength in the arm at the moment. But yeah, they're seized. The rims as well are probably going to be no good. I mean, they're not too bad. They're not rusted away like the Hercules was. But yeah, they're still not the best. They're at the bottoms where they've been sitting. The chrome is flaked off. So it'll be interesting to see when I get this all off how they go together. If I can get them working. I really hope I can get them working. But yeah, we'll see how these go. Oh, there we go. I got one wing nut off. And this one wing nut is actually stamped BSA. So they're the original nuts. So obviously when it comes to the rear as well, we're not looking in good condition here as well. The rim looks to have held up over the years, but around the centre, oh no, I've just put my finger through it. Yeah, so the rear rim is definitely gone. I've just put my finger through it. So we'll need some new rims. They're 26 by 1¼ so whether I go 26 by 1 3/8 just to make it a bit easier, and put some alloy rims on it so they're a bit better braking. Who knows? I'll still be able to get the 40 hole. Hub itself is the Sturmey Archer. It looks like it says KB3. I've just tried to clean it up, scrape it up. So yeah, obviously it's a K because it's a K shifter, and the hub brake as well. Torvey? Where are you? Now behind the car. So it it appears to be seized, whether that's the brake or the hub itself, I'm not sure. You can get a bit of movement if you start pulling the chain and yanking it, but the chain's so seized it's not going to really go round. So I'll have to cut all the spokes out probably, and get out the garage please. So yeah, probably have to cut out all the spokes, and then soak everything for a while to try and get it out. I'm just wondering one thing about the hub brakes. Do they contain asbestos? Does anyone know that? Because obviously it's not something I want to be breathing in. I know they used asbestos in brake pads back in the day. So yeah, dust mask is probably going to be something I'll wear when I'm stripping this bike down. But that's the K-Series hub brake on the rear. Now I think the pièce de la résistance, if that's how you say it, is the crankset and the pedals, in fact, and the pedals. The pedals are just obviously there with it being completely blown out. So crankset is obviously the stamped BSA crankset. Well, the condition isn't too bad. I mean, you've got the spots of rust around there which should clean up. You've got the oil which has protected the teeth. The teeth look very worn actually. Oh, that might not be good. It'll be a 1/8 inch chain, so it'll be nice and tough, but that doesn't look good. The teeth are very pointy, shall we say. The pedals are seized. Like, oh no, non-drive side is okay, it spins. Drive side is seized. And yeah, button bracket still moves a little bit, so at least there's something that's not completely seized up. But these are the things that I really wanted to get my hands on. The crankset and the pedals, because they're nicely BSA stamped, they're original to the bike. So yeah, it might be a case that I replace this crankset if I can find another one, just because of the wear on the teeth. The pedals, we'll have to have a look when we get them stripped down, but they are beautifully original, and deserve a rechrome really, don't they? So yeah, I mean, that's my recent find. It is going to be, like I say, a hell of a lot of work. Probably more work than is viable for a business sense, if you're going to be looking at it like that. But I mean, the parts, I'm not going to say this because I'm not going to, no, I will say it. The parts alone on the bike are probably worth more than what I paid for it, but I'm going to restore this. I'm going to put it back to a riding condition because I think it's too nice a bike. It's too, apart from the fork, it looks too solid of a bike to take apart. So I guess I will start stripping it. I don't know how long this video has gone on for, because I just wanted to showcase it today. But I'm going to go and grab the Hercules as well, just so you can see what that is. It's already in pieces. I I had to like cut it apart basically. The rims, like I said, were split in half due to the rust. So they were binned straight away. Unfortunately, well, oh, no, I'll go and show you. This is the Hercules anyway. All stripped down, obviously. Black frame. It's got the horizontal dropouts. It had the chain tensioners on it, but the one thing that's wrong with it, the dropout chainstay bridge has corroded. Fortunately, it is one of the removable types, so you can just swap them out. The rest of the bike looks solid, but mind you, that part did look solid, so it needs a good going over. Okay. So it needs a good going over. We've got a nice free bottom bracket. It's been covered in grease, so the cups are nice and nicely protected. That is a Hercules bottom bracket, Hercules branded, and obviously it should have rod brakes on it. Oh, is that the right? Don't jump up there, you'll never make it. Oh my god, she made it. Anyway, yeah. Oh, now she's on the garage roof. Tovi. Okay, back to the bike. So, yeah, should have rod brakes. Some of that got cut off. Part of it snapped, shall we say. But yeah, most of the bolts actually came undone fairly easy. The two little clamps that go on the chainstays were seized. They had to be cut off. The rod itself on the front was seized, and when I was trying to undo the bolt, I'd undone the bolt, I was trying to pull the rod out of the little horseshoe, I don't know if that's what you call it, for the stirrup, there we go. I was trying to pull the rod out of the stirrup, and it snapped. Yeah, I didn't even see that coming, didn't even see it resting, it snapped. So what I'm thinking with that is if I can get it out, and if I can get the rest of this bike up to scratch, check it all over, then I might make a Bobby Dodger sort of path racer out of it. I've got a 3-speed rear dyno hub for it, which it's seized naturally, everything is seized. I've got the Hercules crankset, not the one that I've got on my Hercules, but the H1, which is, actually I'll show you, down here. That isn't my can, by the way, that was the one that was just floating around. So it's got 3-speed dyno hub, seized solid, front stirrup with the seized bolt in, the seized rod in, Hercules crankset, which isn't too bad a condition. No, it's pretty bad. The arm itself is pretty rusted, and these pedals, who are they made by? Are the Union pedals, so they're slightly newer pedal than the bike, but they've got some cool reflectors in there. And we've got a light set, Dynamo Light set. That's pretty much all for this bike. I mean, it was. He just wanted to get rid of the bike, and I just took it because it might have been good, it might not have been. Turns out it wasn't. But you know, we might be able to still make a usable bike out of it. we shall see. But my main effort is going to be towards the BSA. So look out for that. It's going to take a while because of how seized it is, and how much work needs to be done. But you know, in the meantime, we've got to do the ride videos. Just a kind of update, what I've bought video, and I'm probably rambling, so I'm going to leave you to it. And there'll be builds coming up, I promise you. So stick around, and I'll catch you in the next video. And Torvi will make another appearance, no doubt. So I'll see you in then.